President Biden plans to freeze assets of Russian President Vladimir Putin and Russia's foreign minister. The new sanctions match the European Union sanctions. In Ukraine, heavily armed Russian troops are bearing down on the capital with explosions and gunfire sounding in the city. And according to CNN, the U.S. is worried that the city of Kyiv could fall within days. Chris Wynn reports.
Tension and fear mounting in Ukraine. The capital city of Kyiv lit up overnight. This bridge leading from Russian-held Crimea into the main part of Ukraine is where President Volodymyr Zelensky says the most intense fighting took place and where his army was able to push back Russian troops. Residents across the country fleeing for their lives.
We don't know what's going to happen here next. I think the best thing right now is to be safe, is not be here.
Ukrainian leaders, including former President Petro Poroshenko, encouraging those staying to take up arms to defend their country.
We are standing in line for the weapons. We are standing in line to give our blood to our soldiers.
Even as air raid sirens wailed, Russia continued its propaganda campaign, claiming its troops are there on a peacekeeping mission.
Nobody is going to attack the people of Ukraine. Nobody is going to somehow degrade the Ukrainian armed forces. We are talking about preventing neo-Nazis and those promoting genocide from ruling this country.
Zelensky says the latest U.S. sanctions against Moscow aren't enough.
This morning we are defending our country alone. Just like yesterday, the most powerful country in the world looked on from a distance. Russia was hit with sanctions yesterday, but these are not enough to get these foreign troops off our soil. Only through solidarity and determination can this be achieved.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
And Indiana, like the rest of the world, is following the developments, many watching in fear, but hopeful that the tide will turn and the invasion ends soon. Some looking to prayer to get it done. News 8's multicultural reporter Katira Winfrey has the story.
There's a lot up in the air right now, but one thing that many people can lean on is their faith. This church still follows a lot of Eastern European practices, and they are watching the developments, hoping and praying that the chaos in Ukraine doesn't escalate further. Father Brian Iman is the pastor of St. Athanasius Visiting Church in Indianapolis. It's a branch of Catholicism, founded by Ukrainians in the 1890s. It's been hard to turn away from the constant flow of information and images coming out of Ukraine following Russia's attack.
My first trip to Ukraine was back in 1988, when it was still under the Soviet Union and the oppression of communism. And so to see the Russians invade again brings back terrible, terrible thoughts.
His friends in Ukraine say online service has been disrupted, so there's been challenges getting through. So now he's calling on his faith and will be holding special prayer service Sunday.
Our prayer is going to be that, that God prevail.
Henry Parisi's grandparents left Ukraine in the 1900s, but he grew up practicing the same faith. He's a congregant here.
I'm watching it all the time. I'm extremely worried.
He says in the 90s there was hope when Ukraine gained its independence, and this attack could be a major step backwards.
NATO or the UN does something to stop this aggression. It's an aggression.
Both say it's important that all people with hopes and dreams of goodwill stand together in faith.
We hope and pray that it gets resolved before there's any more bloodshed.
In addition to praying for Ukraine, the congregation is also developing a plan to pull together resources to send them to Catholic agencies in Ukraine. Reporting in Indianapolis, Katira Winfrey, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.